Hello and welcome to another tutorial on the Bible Online Learner. This is an exciting episode as we are going to introduce you to a just released new feature, namely the exam mode. It's possible now for instructors to set up exams for his or her students. The class can take that exam and will be automatically graded. So no exam writing, labor-some exam writing necessary anymore for the instructor, nor time-consuming grading, since this is all now done automatically by the Bible Online Learner. Well, I want to run you through the process to set up an exam. So imagine you are teaching Hebrew 1, an introductory Hebrew course, and you want to produce a final exam for that course. Obviously, first you need to make sure that that course, that class is created, is present. So in my case, I am preparing now my summer 2022 Hebrew course, and you'll see it right here. Hebrew 1 2022 summer course here at Andrews University. You need to make sure that your student here on the right is enrolled in that class, but we'll have a look at this in a second. Okay, good. Now we have set up the class. Obviously you are, I assume, already using many of the exercises for your class. You see here in my Andrews University folder I have a class called Hebrew 1 based on Genesis 19 and 20. These are the texts that I'm working with in my introductory Hebrew course. When I go into that folder, you see a whole bunch of exercises that I'm using for my students. So I'm now planning to create an exam that consists of a selection of these exercises. So in order to do that, you go to Manage Exams. You see, obviously, I'm now teaching an Aramaic course. That's why I've already set up a final exam for Aramaic. But we want to create a new exam for our Hebrew 1 introductory course. Create new exam. So now I'm basically put into the folder system of the Bible Online Learner and can select the exercises that I want to be contained in the final exam. So I go here to my Hebrew 1 folder where I have all these exercises. You want to make sure that your class actually has full access to this folder. So you click on Edit Visibility, and here you see all the different classes that exist on the Bible Online Learner. We want to make sure that our Hebrew summer course is actually getting access. Here it is. That's our Hebrew summer course 2022. It has access. Perfect. We click on OK. So now I know my exam can be put together. So let's see. I want to use a simple vocab exercise just for the purpose of this demonstration. Let's do some preposition prefixing. So we use this one. Then let's use also some suffixes being attached to nouns. Here, that would be a nice one. Now, of course, we also want to do some morphology exercise, verbal morphology. So let's pick this one, and why not also do a phrase analysis exercise for syntax. In my courses, I don't require my students anymore to translate into English or German or whatever you have. When I know that the students know all vocab and they know how to syntactically analyze clauses, I basically know that they can translate. But that's just me. Okay, I've selected the different exercises. Now I click on Create New Exam from Marked Files. Give it a name. Let's call this Hebrew 1 Final Exam. You see, I by purpose don't put the date here because this will be my source. So to say, this will be my base exam, and I will not have to create any other new Hebrew 1 final exam if I wish so. I will just always draw from this exam my new instances of an exam for each class. You'll see this here in a second. So I give it Hebrew 1 final exam. I will use that as a name, create exam. All right, so now you see the option to provide an exam description. This is, let's say, welcome. This is your Hebrew 1 final exam. Okay, and now you see a list of all the exercises you have selected. What you can now decide is, you can decide how many question slides your students are going to see. So let's do just 2 question slides for vocab, and then let me just do 1 for each other exercise. Obviously for real exam you want to have more slides, but just for the purpose of this demonstration I just put 1 so that we're not getting lost in a long exam. And then you can define the weight, how heavy the weight is for the grading. So you see the default is 1, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exercises selected in that exam. It basically means then that we have 20% for each of those. But imagine I don't want to have 20%, I want to have a heavier weight here on vocab, so I can define the weight here, and now I double it. And for me always phrase analysis is important too, so let's have here a doubled weight as well. Okay, then you save it, and now you have this base exam. I call it base exam because you can now use this exam for every semester in the future by creating instances. So you click on create instance, you select the class that actually has to take this exam in this instance. Well, in our case it's our summer 2022 exam, and then you give this a name. So yeah, final exam 2022. So this is what the student will see. The student will see the instance name, 2022 summer. Let's call it this. Then you can define your starting date and your start time, your ending date and your end time. You can also define the duration of your exam. Well, we are in winter still, but obviously if this would be the summer course, then I would choose here, let's say July 22, all right, and then the day and the time and so on. But we are unfortunately still in the winter, so let's go here to January. That's where we are now. So and let's pick here 10th. Okay, so here you define when that instance is available to the student. Okay, good. The instance is now created. I'm teaching quite some courses, so you see here quite a bit of instances of exams. But we are now moving over to the student side. So the student goes to text and exercises, clicks on exams, and now it's important, obviously, you see that there is no instance available for the student. We need to make sure that the student is also enrolled in our class. So here we go. We need to enroll the student. Now the student is enrolled. And at this stage, the student can now click on text and exercises, click on exams, and here's, in this case, it's me, Oliver, the student Oliver, so this is my exam that I'm having to take. You click on take exam, and you see now our description that we have put together. Welcome, this is your Hebrew 1 final exam. And then you have the description of each of the exercises that you have collected to become part of this exam. So in this exercise you learn how to translate words from Genesis 19 verse 1. And next, there are also shortcuts, by the way. I'll do another tutorial where I explain how to use the shortcuts if you want to move quickly through an exercise or an exam. Ra'a to see. Okay, next, remember we said 2 slides, so we are now on the 2nd slide for vocab. And rise to encounter. Let's Kara 2, not Kara 1. Okay, we are done. Now we click on, you see there's no next button because there's no other slide. We finished the 2 slides. We click now on finish section. And now we are automatically transferred to the next exercise in this exam. Morphology exercise. In this exercise you learn how to prefix prepositions and the article ha in Genesis. Okay, always read the notes. Compound prefixes with articles might appear as well. Oh, okay, good. And I'm never supposed to click to choose Metek once. All right, so here we have Hamitzrayim. How is the article being prefixed? Well, it's Ha and Patach. Finish section. We just have 1 slide. That's how we defined the exam. Finish section. Morphology exercise. In this exercise, you learn how to analyze nominal forms with pronominal suffixes attached. Me'irot, well, that's definitely a feminine. It's a plural, but it doesn't have any suffixes. So absent, absent, absent. Finish section. Next exercise, a morphology exercise. Yeah, obviously the student's supposed to read those notes. Actually, they're important, but since I've put this together, I don't need to read it anymore. I know what's standing there. Hatzimite. Okay, good. So now we have to define its hefil. And then we have as a tense, katal. Where is it? Katal. And then we have third, masculine, and plural pronominal suffix. Oh, sorry, it's not the suffix. So we have here third singular, but the suffix is third masculine plural. And finish section. And what's this? This is the phrase analysis exercise. Okay, a VAV. What phrase is it? That's a conjunction phrase. Don't have this here as an option, so other value. Yir'u vayir'u, well, that's obviously the predicate phrase. Ha'anashim, that is our subject phrase. Me'od, other value, functions as a modifier. Finish section. And now the exam is complete. So the student has finished the exam within a couple of minutes. So now we go back to the instructor, because the instructor wants to actually grade the student, right? So we go to My Data, Grade Exams. So as an instructor, I choose the class that has the exam. Here it is. Now I can select my exam. It's here, this Hebrew 1 final exam 2022 summer. Then you can select the grading system. I'm here presently in the US, so they use the US letter grading system, but you can, if you're in the Netherlands, for example, you can use the decimal grading. You can also just use percentage or the German grade system from 1 to 6. I'll go with the US letter grade system. Okay, and here we go. We got a B+. A B+ grade. You can go then into the details. Here you see the different exercises that were part of that exam. So obviously there were a couple of things like vocab, morphology of the preposition prefixing, regular noun and suffixes. I got 100%, but then I really didn't do that well in the morphology of the regular verb. Nor in the phrase analysis, so I missed some points there. And you see it graphed out here as well. So obviously my weakest point was gender, the gender feature. I must have done a couple of times wrong. Okay, good. So, well, this is how the grading works of exams. So you see, you don't need to grade manually anymore. It's all done by its own. And you see here that also the weighting of the grading is being taken into account. I hope that was helpful, and I hope you will be happy using this new feature in your classes. If you have any issues, I'm curious to hear about them and see how we can further improve this this new model, this new feature, as it's part of the Bible Online Learner now. Well, thank you for listening and looking, and hope you have fun with the Bible Online Learner. All the best. Bye-bye.